A very important development for the entire telecom space, like you just highlighted. Well, the company in focus today is Shoppers Stop. The stock shares have surged today after the company posted a strong set of Q3 earnings. The company posted a double-digit revenue and EBITDA growth. To discuss this and more, we are now joined by Kavindra Mishra, Managing Director and CEO at Shoppers Stop. Thank you so much, Mr. Mishra, for joining us. First up, Q3 has been a strong quarter. 9 months consolidated revenue for you has grown by close to 9%. What are the early trends suggesting for Q4 so far, and early targets, if you've set any, for FY26?
So, Vivek and Hormuz, thank you for having me here. I think Q3 obviously has been very good for us, and what we are seeing is that the trend lines for Q4 should be similarly on lines of Q3. We are guiding for a 5% kind of a like-for-like growth for Q4 as well. Too early to comment on FY26, but I think directionally we are on the right way. So I think a lot of work on whether we are working on the IPs or premiumization. I think a lot of work is happening to ensure that customers come to our stores, and in our journey of premiumization, we have been able to drive that. So I think it has been quite a good quarter for us, and we expect a similar thing in Q4 as well.
So by similar thing, Kavindra, good afternoon. First of all, thank you so much for joining in. By similar, do you also mean that your like-for-like growth, which was only at 4% this quarter, despite it being the festive season, would stay as is? What's your outlook on that front? What do you expect to end the year with, if you could share a number on that?
So I think Q4 would be close to a 5%. That's what we are looking at, and that's what we are also guiding in our calls. Yeah.
Understood that. Let's move and speak about the beauty business. Beauty business for you has seen around a 3% growth. Players like Nykaa, online players, have reported a little over 30%, gross merchandise value growth. So clearly, when you're comparing it to them, of course, they will be off a lower base too. Why is there such a stark underperformance, and what are the early trends suggesting for Q4 and FY26?
So beauty, actually, if you look at it, and if you look at a larger spectrum for the year till date, beauty is the highest performing categories for us. So if we look at the way we operate beauty, which is more on the premium segment, that continues to do well. In fact, fragrances has led this quarter's growth by 14%. I think we have faced some issues in the masstige segment, but the call for shoppers is always the beauty is driven more around experience and less on the value offering. And we'll continue to work on that. And my sense is that Q4 should be, again, beauty should be one of the leading categories for us.
So by leading categories, would you aspire to go back to double-digit growth in the beauty segment?
Yes, definitely.
And what are you also targeting from the First Citizen members and the private brands, Kavindra? Is there a target share of revenue that you have in mind?
Yeah, so I think we are around 18% in the apparel space on private brands. And what we have been seeing is that it has become very profitable, because what we have done is over a period of time, we have been able to rationalize the brands and put the brands which are right for the business. And that should continue. So this 18% over a period of time should be anywhere between 22 and 23%. And that's a journey which we are on. A lot of correction has happened in the last 3 quarters. And I think we are on the right zone right now.
Mr. Mishra, one thing which we want to understand from you is the average transactional value. We understand that it is now up almost 6% on a year-on-year basis, closer to the 5,374 rupee mark. Now, the average spend or the average selling price too has inched up. Given that, are you now mainly targeting premium customers? And how do you see this particular trend play out Q4 as well as FY26? What are the targets over the ATV as well as ASP?
So I think the good thing is that while the ASPs and the IPT has gone up, the volumes continue to stay. So for example, in Q3, we have seen that trend continues. And my sense is that this 5,300 should be growing on a similar 5%, 4 to 5% quarter-on-quarter kind of number. Because we are changing the mix, we are getting more premium brands. And for Shoppers Stop, the strategy is very clear. We want to be the strongest premium omni-channel player in the country.
Kavindra, you're planned on opening, you have around about 109 department stores, if I'm reading it correctly, and you opened around 16 during the quarter. How many do you plan on adding this quarter, and what's your store addition target for FY26 if you have set that up as well?
Yeah, so we should be close to, we should see close to 6 stores opening in departmental store format in Q4. And our guidance for the next year is anywhere between 12 to 15 stores, large format stores.
If you could split that up as well across various segments?
No, so I'm purely talking about the departmental stores. On the other hand, we have a format called Intune, which is our value format. We are close to 59 stores right now. We should open 26 stores this quarter. So we should be ending the year at 85 stores. And our guidance for the next year is anywhere between 90 to 100 more stores.
Mr. Mishra, just moving on to that particular point, private brand sale actually went down 2% on a year-on-year basis, forming close to 12% of gross sales and around 18%, and for apparels around 18%. How do you see that particular trend panning out, especially when you're talking about private brands? It's inch slower. Is that a bit of a concern?
No, it is not. Actually, what has happened is that when we looked at our entire portfolio, we have rationalized the private brands and said, let's have the brands which have got the right to win. And it is not only driven by increasing the value as a business, but whether they are contributing more in towards the margin. So I think we have taken a profitable growth as a strategy and not only looking at a top line. And what we are looking at, that we have clearly seen the needle move in Q3, and we expect that to move in Q4 as well. So my sense is that this 18% apparel mix of PV will eventually be settled around 20 to 23% over a period of time. But all that should be very, very driven by premiumized private brands and also driven by high profitability and margins.
Mr. Mishra, last couple of questions from our end. First up, you've launched a new beauty brand called Joyology. So what are the internal targets you've set for yourself over there? What kind of segment does that particular brand target? Secondly, First Citizen, we understand that you saw significant amount of repeat sales. So what is it that you're targeting as far as First Citizen is concerned?
So I will answer both of them. So Joyology is for Gen Z. It is for a much younger customer. It's so while we have a brand called Arcelia, which is more fragrances, this is more on the skin and beauty, and we have just launched it across 40 stores in this quarter, and we will see a journey of that. It's too early to give you an exact number, but the initial traction is very good on that. First Citizen customer and the way we have been driving that particular piece is phenomenal. We had the best ever quarter in terms of the black cards, in terms of silver card signing, repeats. So my sense is it will keep on growing, and we should be anywhere between 80 to 83% on a stabilized basis from the First Citizen customer base, with a 68% coming from repeat customers, 65 to 70, and the balance coming from new customers who become a First Citizen customer for us.
All right, Kavindra, thank you so much for joining in and sharing with us the views on the road ahead. Wish you good luck for the rest of the year as well. The management there of Shoppers Stop. The stock significantly off the highs of the day, but still holding on to gains of just about 1%. Little time for a short break. The Nifty continues to remain choppy, but what are the charts indicating? Jay Thakkar from ICICI Securities joins in on the other side to answer just that and share some trading strategies as well. Stay tuned.